I'm Andrea Walker, and I'm reading an excerpt from the first chapter of my novel, Sara's Hope. She and her husband Lance have just found out their 18-year-old son is in jail with no bond. Scary thoughts of her child spending the night in jail paraded through Sara's mind. Facts and details were left to her imagination. Although Sara was shocked and alarmed, her rational side consoled her, and she believed tomorrow would reveal some mistake. Tomorrow they would bring him home. Perhaps the deputy had arrested the wrong person, or the charge was incorrect. Friday evening was glum and quiet as they watched the news and nibbled mindlessly at soup and grilled cheese sandwiches. Later, in bed, they lay silently awake, staring into darkness. Lance reached over and took Sara's hand. After a while, the moon came around and shone in through the lace curtains. Sara fell into a light sleep. This story is true, and this is how Sara feels about it. Parents prefer to choose their children's friends for them, but they can't. The Baileys encouraged John to socialize with the right kind of people and objected when he didn't. Sometimes the louder parents object, the harder teenagers pull away. Sara believes certain personalities complement each other, and sometimes the combination is dangerous. She never planned to apply that idea to her own son. After a fitful Friday night, they dressed early Saturday and drove 30 minutes to the Gwinnett County Magistrate Court. The courtroom, located inside the correctional facility, was replete with metal detectors, a frightening reminder of unknown outcomes. The February chill permeated the atmosphere, or was it the chill of the corrections department? Like church pews, 8 rows of heavy wooden benches furnished the small room. As people filed in, Sara found herself cornered next to the gray wall. She tried not to touch its cold, damp surface, but leaned against Lance instead. Perhaps his bulky warmth would quell the sick claustrophobia she felt seeping into her gut. They were not allowed to speak with John. In fact, he did not even know his parents were there until he was brought in with the other accused. Clad in the county-issued white jumpsuit and flip-flops, he spotted them across the room. Sara's stomach turned to see him handcuffed. John's face broke into his charming, watermelon slice grin, the little boy they knew and loved. Soon Sara's back ached from sitting and her head ached from tension as the agonizing process crept forward. Numerous people were brought up on various charges, ranging from writing bad checks and shoplifting to violation of probation and domestic violence. As the morning passed, Sara was surprised at the attitude of the judicial and law enforcement communities. The attorneys, police officers, and even the judge appeared amused at the incidents being addressed. Officials did not attempt to hide their feelings of superiority over and contempt for the ragtag group of accused. The district attorney questioned a woman with a tone of incredulity. Police officers smiled at each other knowingly. Lawyers whispered and joked, quietly nudging each other, unable to mask their amusement and ennui. After several hours, the judge called Jonathan's case number. John and his friend Jerry Hamilton were charged as co-defendants with 2 counts of attempted robbery and 1 count of armed robbery. Sara and Lance listened in disbelief to the account of events that transpired a week earlier. The charges allege that John went into the submarine sandwich shop where Jerry worked and tried to rob the cashier, but was unsuccessful because the money had already been locked up. Next, John drove and Jerry attempted to enter a pizza cafe, but the door was locked. Finally, they tried a convenience store where Jerry, using a fake gun that looked real, successfully robbed an elderly lady of $61.87. Then John dropped Jerry off at his house and drove home. These events happened the previous weekend, on Friday, February 13th. Sara remembered John sleeping most of that Saturday.
Boom!